Hey, how's it going, you guys? This is Pet Platypus here, and we're going to be talking about episode 12 of Adventure Time. The Jake shirt is back, and what better an episode for the shirt to come back than the introduction episode of one of the series' fan-favorite characters and one of my favorites, Marceline. This episode is Evicted. So, yeah, quite a bit to talk about, because this is a really strong episode. The basic plot is Jake is telling Finn a scary story, and it kind of freaks him out. And then in the middle of the night, while it's raining, someone shows up at their house, and it turns out to be Marceline, the Vampire Queen, and she's kind of like a punk rocker type chick, and she basically kicks them out because she made that tree her house years ago, because she's like over 1,000 or whatever. And so they go house searching with like a montage with a song playing in the background, which is basically just a literal, like if you've seen Tobuscus's literal trailers or whatever, it's basically like a literal song, like it just literally explains everything that they're doing, but it's kind of funny. And then they find a cave and they make that their house, and then Marceline tries to take that, and then he's like, well, you know what, Jake is my home because he's my friend, so she's like, well, I'm gonna take Jake. And then they fight, and she kind of becomes cool with them or whatever and lets them go. So, a really good episode. The scary storytelling part of the episode, I didn't really care about the story he was telling. I didn't really pay attention to what Jake was saying, something about blood mist and stuff like that. But I love Finn's reactions, like when Jake's like, I heard it from a reliable source, and Finn's like, a reliable source? Rats. Like, it's just, because he says it's a reliable source, Finn's just like, oh yeah, it's true, it must be true. And the scene where Jake is like still trying to freak him out, and Finn's like, you're full of it, Jake. That was a funny line. The one where Jake screamed like a girl and he called him a wuss, that was pretty funny. Marceline as a character is good. In this episode, she's kind of a bitch, but she does become a much better character later on. Yeah, so she kicks him out because she used to own that house, and while they're on their little montage, there are funny scenes. I love the scene where they're trying to build a house with like a bunch of sticks, and the guy who's singing is like, they should have fought the vampire, but it's understandable that they didn't, and it's just funny lyrics. Then they find the cave, and the cave is funny because like it's filled in, it looks really weird, it's kind of like a bumpy wall and everything. It turns out it's all tiny little bats, they all fly out, and I love their reactions. Like Finn is like, what, bro? Like he says like the weirdest, he's like, what, bro? It's like the weirdest thing I've ever heard, but it was kind of funny. Or did I say Jake said that? Finn said that. Yeah, and then Marceline tries to steal that house when they're having a party after they kind of makeshift a house out of it. And then they get into a fight, and the fight's cool because it's not like a big intense battle, but I love Finn's attitude. Because throughout the entire episode, Jake is saying, you know, do not fight Marceline, she's a vampire, you know, blobby blooby blobby blue, or whatever the fuck he said, gibberish that Finn actually understood. But Finn finally fights her, and I love how, you know, I love the scene where she throws him into the rock and calls him pathetic, and he's like, no, you're pathetic, and spits on her. That was awesome, because she deserved it. Like, I like Marceline, but in this episode, she had that coming. It was very satisfying when he called her pathetic and spit on her. Another good scene, I'm trying to think. Well, I mean, Marceline as a character, and she kind of tones this down as the series goes along, but I love her random scary faces that she can make. They're like always different, and she can turn into like this giant bat monster. And it was funny when I almost wanted to make this the thumbnail, but I'm gonna make it something less random. But I love the visual when Jake is like, I gotta help out my best pal, and he's like waving his arms and flying towards Marceline. That was a funny scene. Just from a visual standpoint, just the look on his face and the way his arms and legs were waving around, that was funny. Let's see, what else was good about this episode? I found the snail in this episode. That was pretty awesome. He appears in a shot where Finn and Jake are like walking towards like the camera perspective, and the camera's pulling back, and as they're going over this little hill, you see the snail next to them, I think on the left. It's kind of weird. The way they cut it, you kind of see the snail twice in that same shot, which is kind of weird. It was probably just an animation error or whatever. Maybe it's my DVD, I have no idea. But yeah, funny episode, definitely a nice plot to it. What else? Really, that's all I have to say. I like Marceline as a character. I thought the jokes in this episode were funny. I don't really... Do I even need to mention the ending of the episode? It's so random and just completely out of nowhere. The worms... Oh! Good thing I remember to talk about the ending, because that was the other funny scene. When the worm crawls on his bed and starts doing these weird, like, vibration hypnotizing things, and Finn's just like, no worms on the bed, and he just throws the Enchiridion at it and it just knocks it off. That was funny. Oh man, that was... Just because he just does it. Like, you think the worm would, like, scare him because he's all freaked out or whatever. But no, he's just like, no worms on the bed. And at the end of the episode, he's like, you better not have got on the bed. I told you not to do that. And then the king worm shows up and he starts hypnotizing them. And such a weird way to end the episode, but that's Adventure Time for you. So anyway, I thought this was a great episode of Adventure Time. I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. I thought everything about it was solid, not really anything to complain about too much, so thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys later. If you want to learn how to talk, if you want to watch some of my other Adventure Time videos, you can click on my channel. I have a playlist and everything, so I will talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye.